I just want to go around real quickly since it is such a small group and introduce ourselves. So I'm Karen Smith, the Executive Director for Leadership Macomb. So thank you for being with us. And Melissa, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm Melissa Jackson. I am the Director for Quality and Performance Excellence for Henry Ford Macomb Hospital, and also the Director for Emergency Preparedness and Disaster Preparedness for Henry Ford Health System.
Great. And Dan, you're next.
Hi, good morning. Dan Hubbard. I'm with Independent Bank. Actually, just recently joined them back in December, and you can probably hear my kids screaming in the background. Still working remotely.
Yeah.
But I manage all of their retail lending, which is basically anything non-mortgage, non-commercial. So all of your kind of branch home equities, car loans, and then we also have a pretty extensive indirect boat and RV dealer financing network in the state of Michigan as well. So it's been a pretty fun transition doing that all remotely. But
yeah,
thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Julie?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm the program director with Leadership Macomb. I work with Karen and Isabella, and we're just are glad to welcome each of you here.
And Jim?
Jim Marchand, and I have a financial planning practice here in Macomb County. But my fun thing is I'm board president of Leadership Macomb. I get to work with Karen, Bella, and Julie.
Okay. John?
Good morning to the group. John Gallagher. I'm the EMS chief for the Clinton Township Fire Department, and I'm also a staff nurse. I work at St. John Hospital in Detroit, as you may have heard. My 34th year down there in the emergency room. So,
oh, you're busy.
Yes.
Thanks for being here, Kara.
Good morning, guys. I'm Kara Fields. I'm the Director of Veteran and Military Services at Macomb Community College. I've been there about 6 years. But have been serving veterans in higher education for about 20. So it's very rewarding. And I'm very involved with the community in doing that role. So it's a pleasure to meet you all, and I look forward to working with you.
Great. Thank you. Jennifer?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Smith. I'm an attorney who initiated my practice working for legal aid up in the Thumb area because that's where my grant was funded, and am in the process of establishing my own firm in Macomb County, where I've been born and raised my whole life. And after my experience up in the Thumb and seeing how tight-knit and small the community is there, it really got my wheels turning and wanting to invest more time, efforts, and energies into the community that I live in and will now be working in. So I'm real happy to be here, excited to have heard about this program.
Great. Thank you. Terry?
Hi, I'm Terry Gibb. I'm a senior educator with Michigan State University Extension based here in Macomb County. I've been involved with Leadership Macomb as the day chair for environment since 2000, and I also am a board member.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Bella?
Hello, everyone. We're happy to have you here. My name is Isabella Crook. I am the PR coordinator for Leadership Macomb. I've been working here for 4 great years now, and I recently graduated from Oakland University with a double major in public relations and communication. So I'm happy to be applying my knowledge now.
Thank you. Amanda?
Good morning. I'm Amanda Goodspeed with Granger Construction, and I am Business Development Director for Southeast Michigan. So I'm primarily out of the Novi office and working throughout the Southeast Michigan counties, just mainly focused on connecting with people and being able to then connect opportunities and connect our Granger team, which is growing and growing, to other people within the different communities. So excited to learn more.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. And Isaac, if you could introduce yourself, please. Oh, we can't hear you, Isaac. Isaac, we couldn't hear you. I think you had your microphone off. Huh. Well, we still can't hear you. I apologize. We can't hear you, Isaac. Well, we can try again later, I guess. Okay, so anyways, I think we can get started. Thank you all for being here. You met Bella and Julie and myself. We are the Leadership Macomb team. We are a small staff. So we like to have fun and laugh. Anybody that knows us kind of knows that. So we thought, why not start with a little fun this morning? So, you know, we've been working remotely for the past 15 months or so, and I know we've had struggles with technology, and I think everybody can kind of relate. So we just thought we'd show a little clip just to get you giggling a little bit this morning. So here we go.
Last one.
So, as we know, spring hunting season is upon us. Anyway, here's the info about the new licensing system.
Jerry, I don't think your computer's plugged in.
I'm sorry, guys. Just got to power up. First thing we should have is my graph about the season. What? Wait a minute. No, that is not the graph. That's a picture from my vacation to Muncie.
You went on a vacation and you chose Muncie, Indiana?
Yeah, my wife and I have a timeshare.
In Muncie?
Tom, Muncie is a lovely city.
Anyway, hunting and fishing season is winding down, okay? And we all know that it's already closed season on trout. So now, I said trout instead of trout.
It happens to everyone.
My marbles are full of mouth today. You know what, has anybody seen my glasses? I don't even think I can.
Well, that's our little laugh for the day. So, you know, going back to in-person stuff, we'll have to be more still cognizant of what kind of technical difficulties can happen, I guess. But anyway, so we're going to get started. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over just a little overview of what Leadership Macomb is, a little bit about the program. And then we've got a couple people here that are going to do some testimonials just to tell you what their experiences were. And then we'll open it up for questions and answers. It's a small group, so please feel free to ask any questions you have at the end of the presentation, either, you know, through the chat or just by asking the questions when we're done. So I am going to get started here. So Leadership Macomb. What is Leadership Macomb? Next slide, Julie. So Leadership Macomb is the only program that uniquely and thoroughly educates individuals on the assets and issues in Macomb County. Our goal is to strengthen the county through collaboration. And it's important to know that throughout the United States, there are hundreds of organizations that are similar to ours that each focus on their own geographic area. So there's a Leadership Reno, Nevada, or Leadership San Francisco. So we're all unique in that we focus on our geographic area, and our programs typically are all starting in September and ending in June. So in Michigan, our biggest programs are Leadership Macomb, Leadership Detroit, and Leadership Oakland. Leadership Detroit is part of the Detroit Regional Chamber, and Leadership Oakland is, like us, a standalone 501c3. We're autonomous. We're not part of any chamber or anything. So our mission is to we want to produce a network of informed community leaders who understand the roles and relationships of people and systems that support and sustain our community. Enable graduates and others to engage in civic leadership and strengthen organizational and community relationships. And we also have an inclusivity statement, and that is that we strive to model and promote diversity and inclusion as a means to strengthen leadership. We do this by respecting and encouraging all perspectives, as well as by engaging diverse populations in all activities. So our history, a little bit about how we came to be. In 1996, I think in 1995, actually, John Nitz, an attorney with a local firm, O'Reilly Rancilio, went through the Leadership Detroit program and was so impressed that he thought we needed something like that in Macomb County. So he got together with some of his peers and they started Leadership Macomb. So our core program was established in 1996. And then our junior program was established in 2013. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. And then we've also done a customized program for the Detroit Arsenal, and we're able to do that for any organizations that might need something more custom to a select employee group. So right now, our core program is kind of our bread and butter. It is designed for anyone that works or lives in Macomb County or does business. Existing or emerging leaders from public, private, or nonprofit organizations. It's a tuition-based program. The tuition is $3,250, which also happens to be the least expensive of the 3 programs in the Tri-County area, but we're also the best because we offer the most experiences, and I'll get into that in a minute too. And then we usually assemble a cohort of about 50 individuals from all different industries, from small businesses, from education, banking, healthcare, defense, you name it. We've got representation from all industries. And our program meets, we start in September, end with a graduation in June. And in between, we meet for 11 full day sessions. And each of our sessions focuses on a different topic that's relevant to Macomb County. We meet at different venues and do a lot of different field trips. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute as well. Our junior program was, it's designed for high school juniors in any Macomb County public, private, or homeschool, charter school program. It's basically similar to our adult program, but it incorporates a lot of career development, job shadowing, and gets the kids involved in community service projects. There's a $150 program fee for that, but we've never let anyone, we've never rejected anyone from our program due to money. We've offered scholarships if they're unable to pay for that. So that program started in 2013 when our core program graduates that year decided that they really wanted to do something to leave a legacy. So they took up a collection and gave us a check at graduation for about $4,000. And that was in June of 2013. We started our junior program in September of 2013. And we've been going ever since. We had to get buy-in from all 21 school districts, and it's been just a labor of love. So we really enjoy working with the high school kids, and we've seen some really incredible impact because of that program. And then I talked a little bit about customized programs. So we did do a customized program for the Detroit Arsenal a few years ago. They wanted to do something for their employees that were new to the area. So we customized a program for them that focused on government and education and healthcare, some areas that they were interested in. So we're always willing to do that too, if any organization wants that. And that was a very successful program as well. So some of the things that we cover during our program, our topics stay the same throughout the years, but our agendas change from year to year to focus on whatever's relevant that year. So our first session is community assets and issues, where we take kind of a very broad look at Macomb County and see what our biggest issues and assets are. Our next session is government, and then the defense industry, which is huge in Macomb County, arts and cultures, health and human services, education and workforce development, business and economic development, energy and environment, the justice system, and community service. And we do, during these sessions, we do a lot of field trips, and kind of backstage passes to a lot of things that are going on in those particular arenas. And we try to focus, like I said, on the most relevant things going on in those particular segments from year to year. So it's always a very current program. It's always different each year. So it's a very robust program. Next slide, Julie. So some of the kind of unique and behind the scenes experiences include, we have visited the Detroit Arsenal, Selfridge. We've done different hospitals, simulation labs. We do a Clinton River cruise. We visited Comtech, the Detroit Institute of Arts. We visited Fiat Chrysler Assembly Plant, General Dynamics, Macomb County Jail, Juvenile Justice Center, DTE power plant, wastewater treatment facilities, Jimmy John's Field, you name it. We visit a lot of places and get a lot of behind the scenes information, which is very unique to our program. A lot of the other programs don't do quite as many field trips. So the next slide will show just some pictures from our experiences. So I think the top corner picture there shows us at Lake St. Clair, and then there's a picture of us at Selfridge power plant and the Starbase at Selfridge, touring the automotive plant, sitting in the jury box at the court, at General Dynamics, and at Macomb Community College at the MTech Center. Those are just a few of the experiences. Probably the most popular of our experiences, and it's really not part of our program, but because we have such a solid and strong partnership with Selfridge, each year we're able to offer a Civic Leaders Flight, which is a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's where we take up our cohort in an F-135 Stratotanker and do a mid-air refueling. So there's a picture that shows the mid-air refueling where the boom comes out of the one plane and then it connects with the plane beneath it to transfer millions and millions of gallons of fuel. And our participants get to participate in that. It's about a 3-hour flight. Everybody gets to go into the boom. Everybody gets to sit with the pilots and learn about what's going on. And it is just a fantastic experience. No other program offers this. And we're very proud of our partnership with Selfridge and our ability to do this. And it's not a mandatory thing. It's not part of our curriculum, but it's something that's offered in addition to. So if you don't want to do it, and there are people that are a little bit antsy or not comfortable doing it, that's fine. You don't have to. But if you're willing and able and want to do it, it is an incredible experience. So just to kind of recap a little bit, we say that Leadership Macomb is experience, connect, and engage. So by experience, we mean we're just providing you with those experiences to participate in unique field trips and activities and presentations and just learn about the county in a different and unique way. And then we will connect you with all of the leaders and people to fuel successful collaborations that improve Macomb County. Just to give you an idea of some of the collaborations that have resulted, we visit the Juvenile Justice Center, and one year we had the gentleman that runs the Anton Art Center in our class. And he was so moved by the juvenile center that he worked with the people there and the youth that were incarcerated, and they did a mural in the cafeteria of the Juvenile Justice Center. That is just amazing. And it kind of depicts the whole process that incarcerated youth go through, from being, from getting into the facility and then the growth that they experience throughout their incarceration. That's one example. Another example is we had a woman that was in charge of the teaching program for Oakland University go through our program. And we did a tour of Starbase, which is a STEM program on the base of Selfridge that a lot of people don't know about. And she was able to connect and collaborate with them to get her teaching students to be able to teach at Starbase. So they got real life teaching experience. And you know, that was great for their resume and their learning experience. And so just all these collaborations that kind of come out of the box. And then the last part is engage. So Leadership Macomb participants engage in community service at a variety of levels. So when the county is looking to fill some kind of an appointment, for instance, they were looking for someone to be on the Friend of the Court Advisory Committee. They'll reach out to us and see if we know of anyone that might be interested. If they were looking for someone to fill a position on the ethics board, they reached out to us. So we were able to kind of reach out to our alumni. We have, you know, over 1,300 graduates. So there's always somebody that wants to get involved and might not know exactly what opportunities are available. So our alumni are engaged and committed to making the community stronger. Many of them, after going through our program, decide that they want to sit on a nonprofit board or get involved in politics. Some have run for office, some have started nonprofits. You will see them everywhere. They're engaged and making a difference in the county. So we're very, very proud of that. And it's a great, kind of a great initiative on why to participate in our program. So next, I'll tell you just a little bit about our organizational overview. So as a nonprofit, we're a 501c3. We are run by a board of directors. We have 16 members on our board of directors right now, and they kind of oversee our operations. And then our kind of the core of our program is our program council. And these are all individuals that all of our board of directors have gone through our program. All of our program council members are graduates of our program. So our program council is a group that meets every month, and they're the ones that kind of put together our agendas for the session days. They're all topic experts in their areas, and they know what's most relevant and what's going to resonate most with our cohort that year. So they help us plan each of our session days, and they're all volunteers. So we're very blessed. And then, of course, we couldn't do our program without our sponsors and partners. We do have a lot of sponsors that help us out. We do charge a tuition, so that covers the majority of our expenses, but we also give out scholarships and have some other expenses that the sponsorships help to cover, as well as our junior program and things like that. So we're very, very thankful for them. And then our staff, you've met us, me, Julie, and Bella. That's the three of us. Next slide. So just to give you an idea of the caliber of people that we have on our board of directors, this slide shows, so Jim Marchand, you met him and he's going to be speaking in a minute. He is our current president. We also have Dave Harrington. He's a partner with Plant & Moran. He's been with us forever. Linda McGrail, an attorney with O'Reilly Rancilio. Greg Bisher, he's the owner of Grit Technologies in Macomb County. Darnell Blackburn, he does a lot of diversity, inclusion, and implicit bias training. He's on the ethics board for Macomb County, and he has his own company, Pratt LLC. Dr. Fly, she is kind of second in command at the Macomb Intermediate School District. Terry Gibb, who is on the call she's an educator with Macomb MSU Extension. Meg Gilliman, she's from DTE Energy. She is a power plant manager. Paul Jonah from the Chaldean Community Foundation. Steve Kranick from Selfridge Air National Guard Base. Patty Lopez, who runs Rosalie Technologies and Alchemist Ventures here in Sterling Heights. Amy Pearson, the Vice President of Marketing at First State Bank. John Paul Rea from Macomb County Government, the Deputy Director. And Barbara Rossman, the CEO from Henry Ford Macomb Hospital. And Jim Sawyer, the President of Macomb Community College. So that's our board of directors. They're very engaged, very supportive, and very understanding of what we do. And then our program council, as I said, the group that kind of plans our sessions. I'm part of that, as well as Dr. Dichtel from Oakland University, Jennifer Anderson from Oakland University, Heather Alcori from Oakland University, Mike Benoit from Blue Cross Blue Shield, Terry Gibb from MSU Extension, Chris Marchand, Carrie Mead from the Detroit Arsenal, Amy Pearson, Vicki Rowinski from the county, and Ryan Zemke, the magistrate at 41B District Court. So we have a really solid group of people that bring a ton of experience and knowledge. And each of the program council members has a team that they kind of work with to help plan the particular day. So Melissa Jackson has been part of our health day forever. And she always brings a very fresh perspective and fresh topics to that. So this is just kind of like the core group, and then they each have their own teams that they work with. So we are very, very fortunate. Our program council has so much experience and so much to offer. And then, as I said, our sponsorship. So we're very grateful. We have presenting sponsors or presenting partners really from Henry Ford Macomb Hospital, Macomb Community College, and First State Bank. And then our series sponsors for our most recent webinar series was Marchand Advisory Group, DTE Energy, Oakland University, and Plant and Moran. And then we had just several other sponsors that you can see listed: Blue Cross, Health Alliance Plan, just a lot of really wonderful supporters that we're very, very grateful for. And then just to give an overview of Leadership Macomb by the numbers. So we, like I said, our core program was established in 1996. So right now we're recruiting for our 24th class. Our junior program, we're on our 7th class. So just if you look at our combined number of graduates, over 1,500 individuals have been through our program. It's incredible. So we've provided educational hours of almost 3,000 educational content hours. We've had over 1,600 professional presenters, both local, national, international. We have, thank goodness for our volunteers, over 6,400 volunteer hours. And we have given out over 140 scholarships. And then the dollar amount to coincide with those scholarships is about $160,000, which is, again, incredible. We are a nonprofit. And then just the impact in our community is immeasurable. So we're very proud of the work we do, and we really deliver a wonderful program. So just ways to get involved so you can participate. So I think everyone on this call is looking to get information. So we are right now recruiting for our 24th class. Applications are available on our website, and the deadline is August 1st. The program starts in September, and the dates and everything are on our website, leadershipmacomb.org. Our junior program deadline has passed. We do have a cohort assembled that will start next month of 43 students. So we're very excited about that. And then there's also sponsorships always available. We're always looking for people or organizations to sponsor our programs. And we have a lot of really good benefit from sponsoring. So our sponsorship opportunities list all the different benefit levels too that you get out of being a part of our partners program. And then the other way to support us is to, attend our events. If we have fundraisers, attend those, get to know alumni, follow us on social media. We have a great Facebook presence, LinkedIn presence, Twitter presence. Our website is always being updated, so that's always a good source. We have a newsletter. You can sign up for that through our website. So there's lots of ways to stay involved and really understand and know what's going on in the county and with our program. So the last slide just has contact information for us. So my contact information is there, my cell phone, if you ever want to call anytime. Oh, Julie, what happened? Technical difficulty. So there's my cell phone information, Julie's, and then Bella's email address. Our website, leadershipmacomb.org, and our office phone number as well. So now I would like to just introduce to you again, Melissa Jackson, who was a graduate of our class in 2011. And she is the Director of Quality and Performance Excellence and Emergency Management at Henry Ford Macomb Hospital. She has been a part of our program council for years and has helped us organize both our adult and our junior program sessions regarding health and human services. So Melissa is going to talk a little bit about her experience in going through the program and staying involved. So Melissa.
Hi, everybody. So as Karen said, my name is Melissa Jackson, and I am with Henry Ford Macomb Hospital on 19 Mile, and also now with Henry Ford Health System. So I was in Leadership Macomb 14 class, and when I started the class and when I was enrolled, I didn't know anything about Leadership Macomb or what it was. My boss at the time, he gave me a phone call and he said, "Hey, are you all set to start Leadership Macomb on Thursday?" And I think this was Monday. I said, "I have no idea what that even is." And he said, "Oh, didn't anybody tell you?" And I said, "No." And he's like, "Well, you're in Leadership Macomb. You're representing Henry Ford." And I didn't even know what it was. So he's like, "Show up here on these dates and these times and participate in this program." So it was a really great opportunity for me at the time. I was the EMS program manager and the emergency manager for the local hospital here. And as though, you know, many of you know in your roles, it's not really about what you know, it's more about who you know. And this really was able to help me expand who I know, because I had a very community-based role as I do now. And during all of the incidents that we've had recently between COVID and the Flint water crisis and some of the other things that we've had to respond to, my experience and the connections that I've made through Leadership Macomb have been absolutely invaluable. And then it was so great that my husband, who's actually from Virginia, went through the program because he needed to make some connections as well with his role and saw just how many people I was able to meet and the experiences that I had. So he went through a couple years later as well. So I just kind of want to go over some of my valuable and memorable days in Leadership Macomb and how it's impacted me professionally and also on a personal level. So some of the days that we had just that stick out, the wastewater treatment day was really cool. And we went to the landfill as well. I think that day I learned I still don't eat hot dogs because of this, but we learned that they can't break down a hot dog. They said no matter what they do, the hot dogs don't break down. So I'm going through the wastewater treatment plant. So I still refuse to eat hot dogs to this day because I'm like, I don't know what's in those, but they got a lot of technology going on there. And if they can't break those hot dogs down, then neither can my body. My body's not that sophisticated. But I also thought it was really cool. You know, with the landfill, you don't expect the science behind it, but they actually have a chemistry lab at the landfill, and they've got chemists and biologists working there, creating leachite and all kinds of other cool things for the environment. So that was a really amazing experience. As Karen said, on Justice Day, we went to the court. We were able to watch live court hearings, which was super cool. I didn't want to leave that day. I think that had dragged me out. We had lunch with a judge. That was really cool to be able to just ask her questions during lunch. And then we were able to visit the Juvenile Justice Center and the Macomb County Jail and get an insider view of that. And both of those were incredibly eye-opening and really important assets to know about in our community. As Karen also said, Healthcare Day was really impactful for me because I'm in healthcare and I've been in healthcare my entire career. So much so that I spent several years as the day chair for healthcare. So we had speakers from public, private, nonprofit sector. We learned about the Accountable Care Act. That was really neat. One of the most impactful things I think though for me now was, you know, the mobile integrated health program, which used to be called the community paramedic program, was introduced at that time. And now it's becoming something that's very, very important in healthcare as a whole. And we're moving back toward this mobile integrated health program, where paramedics and EMTs in the community, you know, we always used to consider them pre-hospital. They would respond to the house and bring patients in. But now, once we discharge patients, we're actually using them as part of the follow-up care and the continuum of care. And I first learned about that program here at Henry Ford or at Leadership Macomb. And then Community Services Day, you know, we learned about community resources that I didn't even know existed in our community. But also, I think the most impactful day for me, as I always say, was the poverty simulation. At that time, I had just gone through a divorce and I was a single mom of 4 kids. And I really learned what other, you know, single parents were, even, you know, married parents were struggling with. And just really impacted me to know that at that time, I was, you know, 1 paycheck away from poverty. All it would take was 1 paycheck and I was going to be in that same scenario. And thankfully, I had family support resources if I needed them, but a lot of folks don't. And so that one, my kids still remember that too. And I always, I was constantly asking them for a long time, did you get enough to eat for dinner? Is there enough food in the refrigerator? And finally, my daughter was like, why do you keep asking us that? And it was just so impactful. And I was so distraught after that portion of the day to really know that people in our own community don't have enough to eat every day, and they can't get the resources that they need. And they're living day to day, just trying to survive, where, I just really took for granted what I had. And then on a personal level as well, Education Day, Ron Roberts convinced me that Chippewa Valley Schools was the only place for my kids to get their education. So I dragged them out of their school district, and I put them in Chippewa Valley Schools, and they all ultimately graduated from Dakota, which, that in itself, my son was really struggling in the school that he was in. He's very shy and quiet. And we use the term bullying a lot, but he was truly being bullied. I mean, there were kids that were, hitting him in the back of the head during his entire class with a pencil and trying to staple his hand every chance they got. And he was too shy to stick up for himself. And I thought, coming to Chippewa Valley, this is a sign. This will be such a great start for my son. So we moved all of the kids to Chippewa Valley, and he came home the first day, and I said, how was it? And he's like, well, I sat down at a lunch table and everybody got up and left. So I had to eat all by myself. And I was just heartbroken. He's my oldest, and he's the one that I mama bear with him. And I was like, you tell me who those kids are, and I'm going to make them have lunch with you. So he's like, no, it'll be okay, Mom. And so day 2, same thing. Day 3, same thing. Nobody would sit with them. And I was like, maybe this was, maybe Ron Roberts just, had me snowed, and this isn't the good school district like I thought it was. And the 4th day he came home, and he said, I was sitting in the lunchroom, and this really popular kid came up and sat with me and made all of his friends come sit with me, and they had lunch with me. And to this day, that group of friends who came and sat with him are his best friends in the entire world. And he had such an amazing school experience. And through that as well, my daughter was able to enter the Early College of Macomb program and just graduated as an EMT like her mom and dad. So that was a really cool experience for us as well, that we just wouldn't have known about had, we not gotten the presentations through Leadership Macomb. And I became a Marine Safety Officer, a lot of connections with Mark Hackle through this program. And I learned about the Marine Safety Program with the Sheriff's Department, and they have the law enforcement mission for Department of Homeland Security out on the international waterways. And with my role in emergency management, I had the EMS background, I had the formal education, but I didn't have that law enforcement background. So I spent 5 years out on the water as a deputized Marine Safety Officer out. That was really, really cool experiences as well. And so I'll just leave you with this. I've been to Macomb Community College. That's where I started. Phenomenal school, and really learned even how great it is, even more than what I realized through this program. I went to Baker College, who's also a huge supporter of this program. I've been to many other universities, American Military University. I went to Harvard for a while. And now I'm actually working on my doctorate at Central. And I picked Central because of what I learned about it through Leadership Macomb and one of the presentations. And, I've had an amazing experience with all of those schools. But what I didn't have is that hands-on insider's view that you get at Leadership Macomb. So it really rounds out any formal education experience you have. You're constantly on the go. You're seeing things firsthand. You're able to ask questions to all of the subject matter experts. And I think that was probably my favorite part of Leadership Macomb. And I'm still connected with many people that I met in my class at Leadership Macomb. And then through, Healthcare Day and all of these other events that we go to, I've made a ton of connections. So I've spoken long enough. The flight, I highly recommend doing the flight. And I did a KC-135. It was so incredible. So if you're able to participate in that, I highly recommend it. But with that, I'll stick around if anyone has any questions. And then I know we've got somebody else who's going to do a testimonial today. So thank you for allowing me the time to share my experiences with you.
Thank you, Melissa. You always do such a wonderful job. And I think one of the benefits of the program that maybe I forgot to mention is the fact that, you're in a cohort with 50 other people. And these are people that are from all different industries, all different backgrounds. So you really do get to see things from different lenses, because we kind of get tunnel vision. When I went through the program, a long time ago, 14 years ago, I was in healthcare at the time, so everything I saw was from a healthcare perspective. And then being with other people just helped me to have a broader view and see things from different lenses. And you're with these people for almost a year, so you do form bonds, and they are, once you're in a cohort with them, you can call on them anytime going forward for the rest of your life, because you'll just, be resources for each other. So that's a great perk as well. So with that being said, I just also wanted to mention too, that Leadership Macomb is part of the National Association of Leadership Professionals. So that's the group that is just all the different leadership organizations throughout the United States. So we get to bounce ideas off of each other. And we were actually fortunate enough to present at the conference pre-COVID about our junior program, because it is kind of unique. And that was really a wonderful experience. But then the local organizations, Leadership Detroit, Leadership Oakland, and Leadership Macomb, we try to work together along with Leadership Windsor Essex, Leadership Ann Arbor. And we try to do at least one kind of event a year. We call it Leaders Without Borders. And one of the topics we covered in years past was the addition of the second bridge. There's the Ambassador Bridge and now the Gordie Howe Bridge. So we talked about that, how it impacted the region. We talked about the research triangle and how maybe we could bring something like that to this area. So we do try to have a broader reach than just Macomb County. So you will have an opportunity to meet with people from Oakland County and Wayne County, Detroit. We have in the past each year done like an additional session where we ask anyone interested to go on a trip to Lansing. We do that as a group, Leadership Detroit, Leadership Oakland. And it's the Detroit Regional Chamber plans it, and we get to go to the Capitol and meet with representatives and just hear some really great speakers. Last year we heard from Garland Gilchrist and a couple other people about some things that were going on. So the program is more than just Leadership Macomb. It's a little bit broader than that. And sometimes we just forget to mention those things. So next, I want to introduce you again to Jim Marchand, or as I call him, El Presidente. He is the president of the Leadership Macomb board. He's a good friend of mine, a wonderful person. And he went through the program 2015, Leadership Macomb class 15 in 2012. And he's been involved ever since, and he's risen through the ranks and is now president. So we've twisted his arm really, really strong to take that role. So Jim, you want to share a little bit about your experiences, please?
Sure. Thank you, Karen, and thank you everybody for joining us. Take a walk with me outside today. And I don't mean outside, I mean outside your comfort zone, because I think that's what Leadership Macomb offers. I'm in the financial field, so for my career, I've really focused on one industry and maybe one type of subject or person, right? Somebody that's interested in investing money. Well, that's the exact opposite of Leadership Macomb. You will not focus on any one particular topic. You'll focus on the people, the places, our community. And I think that's one of the benefits. Now, Melissa mentioned a moment ago about the hot dogs, and I could completely disagree with her. One of the things we learned at Leadership Macomb was that they're going to build a ballpark there in Utica. Where is room for a ballpark? Yes, those are the kind of things that we in Leadership Macomb took a look at. And what goes into building a ballpark, and what are the risks, and what's the market, and why Macomb County? And yes, they do sell hot dogs there. Talking about baseball makes you hungry for a hot dog. As Karen mentioned, I attended the class in 2012 and became very interested in Macomb County. Most of the things I had walked by or driven by my whole life in the county, from my home to work or my home to golf. A lot of things I didn't know about. I didn't know about the sewage treatment plant. I flushed the toilet, that's it. Melissa said that was cool to tour that. Well, I should have had a mask back then. Anyway, you see things like that and you say to yourself, how can I make my community a little better? So I decided to join the Business Day Committee. Again, inside my box, right? I'm a business person, I joined the Business Day. Then I became the Business Day Committee Chair, and we just really expanded what business meant. Is this an economic development? What's going on with Lakeside Mall? Why is Partridge Creek Mall struggling now? Those are the kind of topics we discuss. From the Business Day Chair, I moved on to the board, then became board vice president, and about 2 years ago, board president. It's because I'm passionate about Macomb County, but more so the people that we'll meet. Melissa talked about that, and, how many people have impacted her life. And you will find that among the people that are involved in Leadership Macomb. The staff, they're dedicated, but they're determined. In the past year, they were determined to put on a program. It's wonderful to be around people like that. The volunteers from all aspects of our community stepped up during the pandemic. Yes, they all had challenges at home, in the office, school children having to be home, homeschooled, but our volunteers stepped up. It was just encouraging to see that. Our speakers, we had speakers, as Karen mentioned, from all over the country, really more speakers than we could handle. It was fantastic how people said, hey, I care about this community and wanted to do better. So topics you may learn, you may be familiar with. As Melissa mentioned, she was in the healthcare field, and we have Healthcare Day. And so in your particular discipline, you may be familiar with it, but you're going to be unfamiliar with many of the things that are covered. You will agree with some of the speakers and possibly, probably disagree with some of them. That's a good thing. Some of the topics might make you feel uncomfortable, but you're going to walk in the footsteps of many people. So I say, if you're going to take a walk in this journey. How does this help me personally? You know, it's made me a better voter. I do get a sense of what's required to run government, maybe a better taxpayer, a better consumer, a better neighbor. I've got neighbors who work in different fields, and now I understand a little bit more what they're going through. So from a personal standpoint, it's really built my knowledge base and connections. What about from a professional standpoint? You know, a lot of problems last year with COVID, and being around people in this organization, they're problem solvers. We all had problems, but the people in this organization tend to be problem solvers. Yeah, we had a pandemic, right? Something we've never faced before. There's no panic in Leadership Macomb. The people work together, staff, the volunteers, the speakers, to go forward with the best program we could deliver during those circumstances. A lot of challenges, we have those in our life, but as Karen mentioned at the outset, there's collaboration in this organization. We work together to talk about some of the challenges we face. Maybe yours are different than mine, but maybe the solution is very similar. And we have our differences of opinion. In today's world, that doesn't seem to be tolerated. But in Leadership Macomb, we support those differences. We like to have discussion about differences. Maybe we come up with a conclusion that we'll all be satisfied. So in the past year, as I said, our volunteers have stepped up. Karen mentioned our sponsors have stepped up. Our staff is mighty, but small but mighty, they stepped up. And I'd ask you to step up. Step forward and take a walk. Take a walk back into your community. Look at all the things you've missed, as I did when I didn't think about this in 2011. Step forward, consider joining this organization. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. You do such a wonderful job, you and Melissa both. So I appreciate that. I do want to just emphasize that we're a nonprofit, we're a 501c3, we're not part of any organization. So when we present issues and assets, we don't take a stand on either side. Our role is to educate you on both sides of any particular issue and you're adults and you're leaders and you can make up your own mind. So we don't want you to think we're biased in one way or the other, because we definitely are not. It's just our job to present both sides and then for you to make up your own mind. I did get a question. Tammy, our sessions will be in person. We feel very strongly that, we're an experiential program. Part of our strength is the fact that we get out and see things and do things and meet people. So we're definitely going to be doing it in person. We will take into consideration any requirements that the CDC has for whatever venue we're at. If we need to wear masks or whatever, we will abide by those. But hopefully by the time we start in September, things will be more open and everyone will be comfortable. We want everybody to be safe, but some of the other programs kind of changed course last year and offered virtual, and we just felt very strongly that we can't, number one, we can't offer the quality program that we offer in person remotely. It's just impossible. And number two, that personal interaction is missing. And number three, you're paying tuition to go through the program. So you're not going to pay tuition to just sit in front of your computer screen when you can be touching, feeling, smelling things and making connections. Because not only do you connect with, with the other people in the class, but also the presenters. And, we have, like you saw in the by the numbers thing, we've had over 1,600 presenters. So, each session we may have, I don't know, a handful, from anywhere from 3 to 8 presenters. So those are all people that you're also be meeting with and interacting with and kind of adding to your network too. So we feel it's really important to do it in person. We do know that you're busy. Everybody is extremely busy, probably now more than ever. And so our attendance policy is 80% of our sessions, which means you can miss like 4 half days or 2 full sessions. And you are always more than welcome to attend those sessions the following year at no cost. So if you miss healthcare day, for instance, this year, you can attend the following year. We'll remind you, we keep a list of all the sessions you miss. And if you're interested in taking that session the following year, you can, because we know everybody's busy. I just lost my thought, but so we have the attendance policy, we have payment schedules. We will always send the agenda at least 2 weeks prior to each session, so you know where we'll be meeting, where we'll be starting the day, where we'll be ending the day. If there's transportation somewhere from one place to another, oftentimes we will provide that via a bus. So we'll let you know all the details at least 2 weeks before. We provide breakfast and lunch and snacks. So we feed you and hydrate you very well. No hot dogs, maybe some jail food, I don't know. But yeah, so any other questions? I covered attendance, payment policy, we have payment plans available. Our schedule, Julie just put that up. If there's any food allergies, we accommodate those. We have a really nice graduation at the end. That is just a celebration where you can, bring whoever you want. And it's just a nice way to kind of recap the year. We'll give you a directory with everyone's name and contact information. Does anyone have any questions that I didn't cover or that you might be wondering about? If you do, you can unmute and just ask, or.
Karen, I got one.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi. I had a quick question. So with the Leadership Macomb program, are you provided with materials of what to be expected, of what you're supposed to be learning? Or how does that work?
Well, we provide the program agenda and whatever materials you need for each session, we will provide you those that day. what you get going into it is this schedule that says what we're covering on those particular days. And really, we're still in the process of planning the individual sessions, so we don't know exactly what we're going to be covering on the Arts Day, for instance, or Health and Human Services Day. So, because each year we do something a little bit different, something that's most relevant. So, with a new president in the Oval Office, there may be some things that we need to cover this year that we didn't cover last year, or, as far as education, we try to show how things interrelate as well, how things that happen, from the government perspective affect education, affect the defense industry, affect all these other industries, how everything's kind of interrelated. So there's not any kind of pre-package that we give you, Jerry. It's just kind of on a daily basis what we're going to be covering. All the presentations that our speakers or panelists or whatever are available to participants. So they will either email those or have hard copies on the session days. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Isaac had to log off. So any other questions or comments or concerns?
I saw the schedule was pulled up,
Yes.
and I just couldn't find it on the website myself, and it's probably a me problem, but I didn't know if there was a link that you could either send out to us or that bring up real quick. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Daniel.
Julie's- Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Julie.
Hi, Daniel. So I put the PDF in the chat, but then I'm going to send a follow-up email and that'll have the
There we
link
go.
to our website. I'll attach a hard PDF copy of the application, and then it'll also have the schedule. And I think that's it. But I'll be sending all that out, and but in the chat, I put the link to our website and then the schedule as well.
Great. Thanks so much. Just grabbed it.
Okay, perfect.
And then Jennifer, it's just kind of funny because we've had in the past an attorney or two that has said, well, I'm not going to attend the Justice Day because I'm an attorney, I know everything. And then they attend it and it's like, oh my God, I didn't know this and this. And I think it's like that for every industry, educators like, oh, I don't need to be at that session. Oh, but we try to present something that, is off the beaten path that you probably don't know about. So
there's a misconception that attorneys, number one, we know everything. And number two, that we don't need to continue to educate ourselves. And it actually couldn't be anywhere opposite. The laws change like by the minute, sometimes it seems. So, there's always something new to learn, see, do, and connect on.
I figured being able to have lunch with a judge is probably not a bad idea for you either, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say that, but yes, you're right.
We'll save the seat right next to her for you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, you mentioned that there's a couple other regional leadership programs. If you participate in Leadership Macomb, does that exclude you from participating in other regional leadership?
No,
Okay.
no, we have in the past, we've had kind of agreements with the Detroit Regional Chamber and Leadership Detroit and Leadership Oakland, where if say you went through Leadership Macomb this year and wanted to do Leadership Oakland next year, that you would get a discount on their tuition and vice versa. So, we, at least I can speak for myself with Leadership Macomb, we want you to be in the program that's going to benefit you the most in your particular business. So if you're primarily doing business in Oakland County, that's probably the program you need to go to. Or if you're, primarily in Detroit, then that's the program you need to be in. The Detroit program is a little bit different. They don't do as many field trips, and it's more, I think it's more for younger leaders, kind of emerging leaders. Leadership Oakland last year did a virtual program. And this year, I think they're doing a hybrid. And again, they don't do the field trips we do. Theirs is more kind of academic based, if you will. They have homework and projects, and we don't do that. Ours is just more experiential. So each one has a lot of good things to offer. And I think you just need to find what's the best fit for you and what you want to accomplish. But we promise, Leadership Macomb, if you wanna immerse yourself in Macomb County, you will be fully immersed. Trust me.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I had just a comment. I think that's a great idea because our organization, Single Family Living, we are regional.
Mm-hmm.
So we pretty much is, in Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a great, idea for you guys to provide a discount,
Mm-hmm.
especially if we're trying to know a lot more and connect and network with more than
Yes.
just Macomb. So I think that's an awesome idea.
Yeah, we're even toying with the idea of doing like, maybe a couple events that are like beyond Macomb County and partnering with our local, the other organizations and kind of doing some mutual programming. So that's kind of on our radar. We'd like to do that in the future.
That's awesome. Thank you for this. This was amazing.
You're welcome, Jerry. Thank you for all you do. Any other questions or comments? Or our most famous graduate is Mark Hackle. He went through when he was a policeman, and he still participates with us and sends all his staff through. We've had judges go through, we've had farmers go through, it's just a big variety of people, so if there are no other questions or comments, I can let you all go. Have a wonderful day. Any other questions just in closing?
Thanks for putting this together. Appreciate it. Thanks for
Oh,
your time.
you're welcome. And we have a robust social media presence too. So check us out. Bella's always posting stuff on Facebook, and our website is pretty fluid. We always try to update that. So yeah, it's a good network to be a part of. You will never again go to any event, I promise you, and not know at least, a handful of people. And then you also start like seeing things in the paper. Everybody always says that once they go through the program, it's like, oh my God, we just talked about that at Leadership Macomb, or we just talked about, so we have a tendency to cover all the topics that are relevant and people are talking about. So we're proud of that. So thank you, each and every one of you for being here. And I hope that you apply. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me anytime, and we'll do whatever we can to help you. Okay.
Thank you guys for being here. It's nice meeting everybody.
Okay, Julie will send out a little follow-up email. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.